So now I'm going to do the flowers, and I've got a couple different ways I could do it. I'm not sure if I want to do them all different colors or all the same color. But for one thing I can do to just see how I like things is I could use my color wheel and just put it up against the colors and see what looks good, right? With these colors that I've got so far. And I think I like the orange, but then again, if I tried the orange and I didn't like it, well, I could always just make a couple of them orange and then make some other different colors. Who knows? Maybe some blues would look good in there as well. And especially since I'm thinking about making this painting just to play with the colors, maybe colorful is a good choice. Let's see what happens. So having made this color wheel is a really handy thing because I can look, well, exactly what type of orange did I want? And I wanted this one over here, what I would have called the cooler orange here. And it's made with the lemon yellow and the magenta. And so when I make it, just like I learned here, to make things a little bit more transparent there and with the leaves, I'll take the same transparent color that I made just by mixing the magenta with the water, and I'll use that to create my orange. Now, brush strokes matter, right? So you can use that to your advantage. So here I've got a little bit of that paint on my brush, and when I'm making the petal, I can just start here and just round it around like this. And not only does it make the petal for me coloring it in, but it creates a brush stroke that is almost like the veins in the petal, like a real flower would be, and makes it more interesting. So I think I want these blue flowers to be a little bit stronger. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the ultramarine. But this time, instead of going all the way around like I did to make the orange flowers, what I'll do is I'll start towards the center and just work my way out a little bit. So getting some of that first heavy brush or paint off my brush, I can then just spread it up, spread it up, spread it up, spread it up, spread it out, spread it out, down, spread out. And that's going to give me just a little bit of nice variation in that colors. So now I want to make some violet ones. I think with this, looking at the violet on my color wheel, I like this one the best. And so I think I'll go ahead and start with the ultramarine and then finish with the magenta, since I've got the ultramarine on my brush already. So this is nice. So I'm now going to go ahead and add this magenta over top of that ultramarine, and that's making a really beautiful purple. Also, look at the brush stroke. You see the way that I'm doing it in this spiral pattern is giving me this heavy sort of bunch of paint on the edges right here, giving me a nice outline that I didn't even have to make. To make the centers of the flowers, I just started with some magenta and made little circles of magenta into all of them. Now I'm taking the ultramarine and just giving it a little bit around the bottoms, maybe blending it in. Switched my brush just so I'd have better control. And that's going to start setting up that form once again. Also, it's going to be creating my darks into here a little bit. And that just seemed to work with all the flowers okay. Now that I've got a little bit of paint in there, I might go ahead and blend just a little bit. I've just dried off my brush. There's no water on it. Just dried it off a little bit. And I can get in there and I can just blend around, move that paint around a little bit with a lot of control to get it to do more or less what I want. Now I can come in and create some of the highlights. So I'll just take my brush, this little one again, and I've got a little bit of dip of water on it. Get a little bit of water on there, dry it off, move it out a little bit, and that will work for getting my highlights. Now that works so nice, I might go ahead and give that a try on some of the petals as well. So if you take off too much, like I feel I did right here, that's no big deal. I'll just come back with a little bit of fresh paint. Here I'm just taking a little bit of the blue and reinforcing some of my darks, and that's going to give my caterpillar just a little bit more body again. You know, he's got to compete a lot more with everything that's going on around him now. And having that little bit more change in value is really going to help him to stand out a little bit. But be careful, don't go too much. So how would I make something like a black? Well, basically, I would start with my ultramarine. I'd mix a little bit of yellow into it, believe it or not, to make a very dark green. And then into that very dark green, I'd add a little bit of the red as well, because that's the complementary color to the green. Yes, look at that. I've got a nice dark color. It's not black exactly. It's better because it's a lot more natural looking. So I've added my dark color just to the little facial features. I give them a couple little eyebrows and a couple of places here and there. But I'm not going to go off on that too much. Remember, this is supposed to be just a simple, quick painting, something that's kind of fun. So I hope that you enjoy and get creative with all these primary and secondary colors.